camouflage can be the difference between a soldier getting shot and going home. So a lot's riding on the next generation design to outfit troops. It's only been 8 years since the Army spent $5 billion on camo that critics say didn't fool anyone. Soldiers complained to the point the Army abandoned its one-size-fits-all universal pattern.
So they were looking for camouflage that they could use everywhere.
Correct. And it didn't work anywhere.
Guy Kramer is one of the designers competing to win the Army's next multi-million-dollar contract. This summer, he showed us the science behind every shape, size, and shade of these pixels.
You now have your camouflage. So we're trying to trick the brain into seeing things that aren't actually there.
Digital patterns recreate shapes already found in nature, and 3D layering creates depth and shadows where none exist. That's today's design, but developers already have one eye on tomorrow.
What's coming up down the road and very quickly is the Harry Potter cloak.
What is it?
With that fictional cloak, Harry isn't just camouflaged, he's invisible.
My body's gone.
How invisible are we talking here? If I walked into a room with a soldier wearing one of these cloaks?
You wouldn't see him at all. He would be completely invisible to you.
This isn't make-believe. The military has seen the so-called quantum stealth technology. It works by bending the light around an object, even concealing most of a person's shadow. Imagine what that could do for a sniper hiding in a field, or the American pilots who ejected over Libya when their fighter jets crashed last year.
They could actually pull out, very similar to what they carry with a survival blanket, throw it over top of them, and unless you walked right into them, you wouldn't know that they were there.
So what was once firmly in the world of make-believe could quickly become quite real.
The science is in the special fabric, so you don't need a power source or some instruction manual to make it work. Theoretically, any soldier, even in the most remote location, could quickly put it on and get it working.
It was a secret government program known as Project Destiny.
We're building a weapon that could generate targeted seismic events.
Designed to use earthquakes to attack our enemies.
I'm getting a seismic reading.
It was a perfect, untraceable weapon.
Destiny is a go.
Until something went wrong.
That's an electrical superstorm.
Popping up all over the world.
I'll put this as simply as I can. Everybody on Earth is dead in a year.
The core of the Earth has stopped spinning.
The spinning core protects us from cosmic radiation.
Without it, radiation will create superstorms. Microwaves will literally cook our planet.
How could this have happened?
It was Project Destiny. We killed the planet.
So, how do we fix it?
We can't. The core is the size of Mars. You're talking about jump-starting a planet.
What if we could?
We're here about your legendary ship.
What would it take to get it in 3 months?
$50 billion.
Will you take a check? We need you to control the flow of information.
You want me to hack the planet? I'm gonna need Star Trek tapes and Hot Pockets.
You are good. Is there anything you can't do?
Not that I'm aware of.
You're trying to save the world. It's impossible. I came here to save my wife and children. I just hope I'm brave enough to save 3.
I can't wait to get into an untested ship, go to the center of the Earth, and restart its core with 1,000 megatons of nuclear weapons. Then we outrun the biggest shockwave in history.
Hot damn.
San Francisco is in ruins.
The whole West Coast is out, and it's decaying faster than we thought.
2, 1. We're going in.
Whoever goes into the core is not coming back.
We're losing oxygen!
Reach!
We got a job to do. Let's do it.
Last year, I confronted Heizo Takenaka, the former Japanese finance minister, over why he handed over control of the Japanese financial system to a group of American and European oligarchs. He and his envoy told me that it was because Japan had been threatened by an earthquake machine. I did not believe it at the time. However, when I started exposing some of their doings, I was told by the Japanese security police that because of what I had said on places like rents.com, that Niigata City was going to be hit by an earthquake. 2 days later, Japan's largest nuclear reactor was the exact epicenter of 2 earthquakes, both 6.8 in magnitude. That was too much of a coincidence for me. So I started doing research and found out about HAARP, H-A-A-R-P. And I realized that they really did know how to make earthquakes. And they do it by shooting a billion-watt microwave into the ionosphere, which is the part of the atmosphere that has a lot of energy in it. That pushes the ionosphere up into outer space, and then it rebounds. And the way it rebounds can cause earthquakes. Just like an opera singer can break a glass by singing at a certain level, or by dragging your fingernails on a blackboard, you feel a weird sensation. If they adjust the vibration for the rock underneath their target site, they can do that. The same machine can also heat up subterranean water to cause earthquakes. And remember, a billion-watt microwave. What does microwave do to water? It heats it up. Now imagine if you put 1 billion watts into a tropical storm. You could make it much bigger, and you could change the direction it flows in. You know how there's high pressure zones and low pressure zones. Well, high is hot and low is cold. And the hot flows into the cold. And vice versa when there's more of the cold. So they can heat up an area and cause it to flow into a next door area. In other words, these people are capable of creating the cyclone that hit Myanmar, the tsunami that hit Indonesia, and the earthquake that hit China. Now, after the earthquakes hit Niigata, a member of the Inagawa crime family, which is based in around the U.S. Yokosuka Air Base, and members of the Inagawa family have told me that their big boss is George Bush Sr. In other words, they work for Skull and Bones. And they invited me to a so-called UFO gathering where they showed me the video of this blob. They told me it was a UFO, but it was obviously, to me anyway, a plasma weapon, or a ball of heat created by something like a billion-watt microwave. And I predicted in my blog that there would be videos of lights found above China before the earthquake. And those videos then appeared on the internet after I predicted they would. And furthermore, a Taiwanese satellite detected a 50% drop in the ionosphere, in the amount of electric energy in the ionosphere above the earthquake zone. Now, a 50% drop would be exactly what would happen with HAARP. It would push the ionosphere up, and then it would slam back down. So, it looks like the insane criminals who have taken over the U.S. government are killing people and threatening people with earthquake weapons. It doesn't look like it. I actually have some of the proof. And I want to ask the governments of China and Russia and Japan to reveal to the world everything they know about these weapons, and already killed 500,000 people. If we find out that the tsunami in Indonesia was caused by them, and there's a good chance because the earthquakes seem to be politically timed. They asked the Indonesian government to open the Straits of Malacca and to join in the fight against terrorism, and they refused. What happened? There was a tsunami, and suddenly they cooperated. In Myanmar, they are about to have an election, And immediately before the election it came. And guess what? Just conveniently, the U.S., British, and French navies are standing by with food supplies. It should take a couple of weeks to get there. What were they doing there already? And China had just succeeded in getting India to join with Russia and Brazil and other countries to join the Shanghai Cooperation Agreement or to cooperate with it. And Japan just had a very, very friendly summit meeting with China where the emperor met the Chinese leader 3 times. President Bush has not met the Japanese emperor in 8 years. Okay? So in other words, the United States is becoming isolated. And instead of being the policeman of the world, they have become the criminal of the world, the gangster of the world, the bully of the world. They have been taken over by madmen. And they have to be stopped. But we must not give them any excuse to convince the Western public to support a World War III. That's what they want, and they're not going to get it.
The blueprint for HARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. What does HARP do? HARP is a large antenna where we beam radio frequency energy up into the upper atmosphere, and we create on a small scale what the sun normally does.
The assignment came that the Navy and the Air Force were to manage the program.
Applications discussed in the patents included destroying missiles. Communications control and disruption were included. There were some other ideas both to possibly modify weather and finally to lift a portion of the upper atmosphere further out into space where hopefully it would be able to deflect missile trajectories.
In 1983, I did radio tomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HARP uses 1 billion watts beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with 1 billion watts, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could be so severe underground that could even cause an earthquake.
HARP can create some of the effects that the sun creates that are similar to the aurora borealis.
HARP can paint designs in the sky, if you will. You know, it can take the beam and move it in any pattern that the scientist who's doing an experiment might want to do.
设备思想的人能要抽吧？就光线里折射嘛，太阳折射就是用在折射的太阳光幕，应该就是。
Back in June 11th, 1972, in the LA Times, the lead physicist for the RAND Corporation, he said that in 1972, the government had the technology to excavate tunnels across the United States and put maglev trains in that were capable of doing 10 to 14,000 miles an hour. Now, this is not science fiction. We have the capability to do it. These are U.S. patents by Los Alamos National Laboratories talking about thermonuclear boring machines that melt through rock just like you're taking a knife through butter. I went to Bechtel in Las Vegas, Nevada, and put in subterrane, which is what they called one of these, a subterrane into their computer system. These are images of the subterrane being tested up at Los Alamos Scientific Laboratories. The actual boring tips get superheated and they melt through solid rock. There's no excavation of materials that are needed. The rock penetrates, cracks, and presses liquid molten glass up through a lining all the way around it. In the early 1970s, there are plans for a network of underground tube shuttles. There are tube shuttle systems leading out of the base.
So we have these tunnels under the United States now. You're saying this is a reality?
Absolutely.
When's your birthday? I never had a birthday.
His name is David.
I feel it. That's creepy. Whoa, feels so real.
In a distant future, in an age of intelligent machines, he is the first robotic child programmed to love and coexist as a member of a family. His is a tale of humanity and a journey to find his place among humans and machines.
I'm a boy.
You are a real boy. At least as real as I've ever made one.
We designed them to be trusted with our homes, with our way of life, with our world. But did we design them to be trusted?
The rollout of USR's new generation of robot, the NS-5, was marred by the death of designer Alfred Lanning.
Identify. Murder's a new trick for a robot. Respond.
Don't murder him!
We're gonna miss the good old days.
What good old days?
When people were killed by other people.
My robots don't kill people.
That thing threw somebody out of a window. Is that registering with you?
A robot cannot harm a human being.
And you trust them if you want to.
We look to robots for protection. Imagine the loss of all that we've gained because of an irrational paranoia.
Does thinking you're the last sane man on the face of the earth make you crazy? Because if it does, maybe I am.
Maybe you can be looking in the shadows all the time.
You're on the inside. Help me find out what is wrong with these robots.
Dr. Lanning suggested robots might naturally evolve.
I was hoping to see you again, Detective. Think of me as your friend.
Why didn't you just hand the world over on a silver platter?
Maybe we did.
We are on the eve of the largest robotic distribution in history. There will be one robot to every 5 humans.
How many robots have ever committed a crime? How many robots in the world?
None.
There is no conspiracy. What this is one mistake.
Oh, hell no.
Somehow, I told you so just doesn't quite say it.
Get off my car!
I see you remain suspicious of me, Detective.
You know what they say about old dogs?
Not really.
Gotcha.
I'm leaning on the lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by. Oh me, oh my.
Hear me first! Hear me first!
Extreme close up!
Terminators, unmanned vehicles, synthetic organisms. Is the military merging human DNA and artificial intelligence to create killing machines that will one day rule the world?
Whatever ability or function that the human body has, there is a scientist somewhere trying to make a robot do the exact same thing.
Does the government already have a real-life Skynet that is capable of running a war with no human intervention?
Right now we're facing a free-for-all. There are military contractors, mad scientists driven to make money, and they're all trying to create the most efficient machines that will make human beings completely expendable.
Tonight, science fiction becomes science fact.
DARPA is a very open agency because they do talk a lot about what they are researching, what they're investigating, and some of the scientific advances that they have taken. But if they'll tell us that much, you have to ask yourself, what aren't they telling you?
One product of DARPA research is the Nano Hummingbird. The 1-ounce flyer can move backwards, forwards, and hover in one place. With funding from DARPA, Big Dog was developed to carry heavy loads over rough terrain.
These things are real. They're not fiction. Luckily, these are ours, at least for the time being.
Highbot Snake is an amphibious device that's mobile on solid ground and in the water.
As science makes these advances, they start creating robots that do very small things. One can carry heavy loads, another jumps very high. When you start putting all of that technology together, all of a sudden you have a super soldier, you have an ultimate machine.
And then there are the drones. 1 in 3 military aircraft operates without a human pilot. And their numbers increase every day.
ICE has developed a male version of its android robot Actroid F, which was first shown to the public last year. These human-like robots imitate the movements of the people they are watching, and are currently being placed as observers in hospitals to see how patients feel in their presence.
私の名前は黒川です。
いくつですか？
26歳です。
一緒に写真を撮りませんか？
ええ。
なんで女性なのってよく聞かれたんですけれども、それもあって男性を作ってみようということを考えたんですが、その時にですね、全くメカ的には同じメカで同じ顔をしていて、カツラを取ると同じ顔なんですが、仕上げだけですね、化粧とかカツラとか洋服は男性にしてますけれども、そうすることで男性と女性の印象の違いとかいうのがですね、比較しやすいような、実験のプラットフォームになるかなということで開発をしました。
Max Nicosta, 36 years old. Violation today at bus stop 34B.
What's in the bag?
Hair products, mostly. I'm just kidding. Hey, just going to work.
Thank you, citizen.
No, thank you.
Immediate extension of parole duration by a further 8 months.
Wait, what? No.
Elevation in heart rate detected. Would you like a pill?
No, I am okay. Thank you.
Are you being sarcastic and or abusive?
Negative.
Welcome.
Ah, hello, madam.
Cancer cells removed.
3 undocumented ships are approaching Elysium airspace.
Shoot them down.
I see things haven't changed.
This wasn't even my fault.
You're still stealing cars?
No. Since I got out, I've been trying to live a normal life.
Used to be a legend, and now what?
Frozen 34!
In 5 days' time, you will die. Thank you for your service.
They can fix it on Elysium, man.
Max, I think I can help get you up there.
Hey, bring down the boom saw!
This ain't gonna kill me. What did you do to me?
Gave you a way out. Whoever has this has the power to override their whole system.
She's very sick, Max. I need to get her up there.
You can save everyone.
When can I go?
Activate Kruger.